morning to our Shifu, brothers and sisters. Yeah, very grateful to have this opportunity to share with you all, as it will allow me to reflect more deeply into what Shangren has taught us by stringing the teachings together. So today my presentation will be based on the Wisdom at Dawn replay in the above during the morning Shinfa session. Master's teaching was centered on the following verses from chapter 2 on skillful means. So the thoughts in the minds of sentient beings, the various pathways they walk, the nature of their various desires, their karma, good and bad from former lives, the Buddha know them all thoroughly, with all conditions, analogies, expressions, and skillful means. I enable all to rejoice. Perhaps I may speak of sutras, gathas, previous lives of disciples, previous lives of Buddhas, or things that have never been. So maybe to give an overview to everyone, this verses was mentioned by the Buddha when Buddha was starting to preach the Lotus Sutra after Venerable Anand has pleaded Buddha for 3 times. Although 5,000 people left the assembly at the moment, Buddha was undisturbed, unperturbed, as the assembly is now free of disciples with overbearing arrogance. These verses come after the long passage. It is to reiterate the important teachings of the Buddha, whereby Buddha said all the teachings in the past were meant to lead everyone into the insight and the wisdom of the Buddha. Or in other words, lead everyone on the Bodhisattva path to become a Buddha. But because there are so many sentient beings with different nature and capabilities of understanding the Dharma, so the Buddha has to work hard to give teachings that would suit the different needs of the sentient beings. And these teachings, which looks different to us, are all from one core Dharma. That is, we all have the intrinsic Buddha nature, and we need to engage in spiritual cultivation diligently to attain the ultimate liberation, which encompasses the well-beings of all sentient beings. So on the surface, reading these verses, what we get is, okay, Buddha knows everything and he can teach with various means. But Master dwelled deeper into the teaching. We not only want to know that Buddha is a great enlightened being, we actually want to know how and practice towards Buddhahood. So come the question, how is it possible to know the nature of every person? When we come to think of it, it really is good to have this ability of knowing everyone. Then we will have no issue when dealing with people. So in these few episodes, it is very much about the wisdom in people interaction, the EQ. So how can Buddha know all sentient beings so well? Some people may argue it is because Buddha has attained superpower, or in Chinese we call sentong, because his mind is very focused and pure through meditation. But there is something which is also very important and very practical. That is, Buddha has lived a virtuous life to benefit others in his many past lives, thereby accumulating much wisdom and forming good affinity with us, the sentient beings. And this is what Master and Buddha want us to practice, both the external good deeds and internal cultivation. So in order to have the wisdom to know the nature of every person, we'll have to go amongst the crowd, not only working with others to benefit people, but also to learn from every individual. We tend to forget this part because people are different, and this could cause some frictions and conflicts. When we face conflict, it is easier to just go away to avoid, or some people may choose to fight fire with fire and totally forget to learn from others. So although this seems difficult, but this is exactly what we need to work on to be in harmony with everyone. And this begins with self-reflection, or rather I would say we need to learn to interact with people and practice self-reflection at the same time. These two aspects create a positive cycle to nurture our wisdom life. Then to quote what Master said in one of the episodes, "Dear Bodhisattvas, we need to first learn about people. We must first understand what they need so we can give them something suitable. When people first see you, a sense of friendliness will draw them close to you. When we see someone, we want to feel like we have an affinity with them." Understanding what people need. This sounds quite natural, but it is a very important concept in the profession of charity and social work. But this is often forgotten because it is easier for us to do things in our own way, to give what we have to others. Yeah, but what really important is give what others need. Yeah, so it takes more effort to put ourselves in others' shoes. But I think it is worthwhile to put in more efforts in order to form good affinity with other people and to learn from other people to grow our wisdom. No money required, just that we need to put in more heart. Then Master mentioned in one of the episodes the 7 ways of giving without money. And this one, I must really credit Sister Xiaoqing for drawing the comic. Yeah, very nicely drawn and very explanatory. So I think since she has put in much effort in drawing this comic, we should make good use of it to benefit more people. So the comics capture the essence of the Xun Fa Xiang episode. So the 7 ways of giving, they are all simple, including this one. You see on the top right corner, regardless the way people respond, always treat them with kindness. They only appear difficult because we are used to thinking in a complicated manner. This is what I think. Yeah, many things appear complicated because of our own mindset. So, talking about minds, Master taught us about the working of the mind in one of the episodes. So, our mind like to attach to the concept of self-interest, delusion. That's what we mean thinking in a complicated manner, as illustrated in the following comic. Yeah. So again, Sister Xiaoqing comic. Later we'll see a few more Sister Xiaoqing comics, which is very useful. Yeah. Okay. So as illustrated in this comic, there is true mind and false mind. Some people may ask, shouldn't we be true to our feeling if we are to live a mentally healthy life or to be creative? So, for example, if we face conflict, shouldn't we just go according to our feeling? If we just suppress our feeling, wouldn't that be not good for our health, our mental health? But another question arises: is there real feeling? What is the nature of feeling? Actually, this is a philosophical question. I think feeling really depends on how we value and perceive things. If we value the meaning of our life, then it would be worthwhile to not act according to our negative feelings, but to transform it into positive energy with wisdom. So in Tzu Chi, Master teaches us to give without asking anything in return, and at the same time, we need to be grateful for the opportunity to give. This is a way to train our mind to return to the true mind. So true mind and false mind you can see in Sister Xiaoqing comics. Okay. All right. So then we come to this verse. Their karma, good and bad, from former lives. So Master taught us while our present situation is very much affected by what we have done in the past, we can still be the one in charge of our own future and destiny. Our happiness is actually in our own hand. The important thing is we should be in charge of our emotion at the present moment. Even though we may encounter conditions, we can shift our mindset to see them as a favorable one, as it allows us to practice and tame our mind. This is called mindfulness. And Master also taught that we should be happily and willingly accept the retribution of what we have done in the past and then move on. This corresponds to the concept of self-acceptance, which is quite popular in the Western psychology. It is not actually to indulge oneself to wrongdoings. Can you see the subtle difference? Yeah, it is to view our shortcoming in a positive light so that we can move on. So mindfulness and self-acceptance is a key to happiness. It's important for us to be in harmony with other people. Okay, here I have an example of my own encounter to share with you. It happens in the abode. A senior said in front of many people that I'm not a responsible person, and he continues to say all the things done by the religious department are a mess. At that time, I have no chance to explain myself, and I have to admit that I wasn't able to bring up the heart of gratitude in the face of these words, which I think is quite harsh. What I have in my mind was self-doubt, because I wonder if I'm not capable to do the task assigned to me. I also ponder on the meaning of responsibility. I was thinking, am I really not responsible even though I suddenly woke up the night before with my mind running through the task given to me, worrying what has, because I worry if anything that hasn't been planned or done properly. So again, was I not responsible? Yeah. Then I thought I shouldn't pay too much attention on my feeling, as feeling is a fleeting thing. But my spiritual cultivation is not refined enough yet, so this doesn't really work. I was still feeling quite down. Yeah, then I thought, just like what Master usually mentioned, we should work in harmony with others. And this I mentioned in the earlier slides as well. So just now I also talked about self-acceptance. So I think maybe there's really something that I haven't done enough, and I thought maybe I formed bad affinity with this senior in the past. Yeah, so I should work on it to see how to resolve this so-called grievance. Yeah. So actually, my false mind at that time think that my senior might still be mad at me. So I feel a bit worried, a bit frightened. But anyway, I decided to talk to the senior, and I managed to talk and get the things done according to his need. It turns out that he didn't have any grudge or negative feeling on me. He just said, okay, so life then continue as usual, 如常. Yeah. So I think the important thing here is that we need to treat people with sincerity. So maybe we have this, maybe our false mind will label other people, but if we label other people, then it will affect our action and affect our relationship in the future. So with true mind, with sincerity, we can actually resolve many issues. Okay, then coming to this spiritual friends, I think Yamasa also mentioned spiritual friends in one of the episodes, and again, Sister Xiaoqing comics. But the spiritual friends here is even more encompassing, or it's even broader than what I know earlier, because I thought spiritual friends are those who are beneficial to us, but it actually also include those Dharma friends, or Dharma family members who might not appear too friendly to us. Yeah, because they actually allow us to tame our mind and and to reflect whether our practice is refined enough or good enough. Yeah. So all these friends or people, we can see them as spiritual friends, even though maybe they are not too friendly. Yeah. Actually, this corresponds to the spirit of the never disparaging bodhisattva. So I think we all know this, the spirit of this bodhisattva. He dare not disparage anyone, although maybe some people they are what they say doesn't make sense, or even though they want to hurt us. So we can, if people want to hurt us, then maybe we just keep a distance to them. But we never disparage them, because they will be the future Buddha. Okay. So and if we can see everyone as spiritual friends, then we must even treasure our spiritual friends here. I think the opportunity to have this sharing in this English group is very rare. I think I consider this is a very rare opportunity. We must have formed a very strong affinity in the past, because I see from this WhatsApp group, actually everyone put in a lot of effort to maintain this group. It has gone on for how long? For 3 years, 2 or 3 years. Yeah. So let us treasure all the spiritual friends here. Yeah. And then I think my last slide is about sutra. Yeah, because in one of the verses, it mentioned the Buddha teach using the sutra or the gathas or many other means. So, but this Kuan masters saying this quote, I think is quite a different way of viewing sutras. So, master said the sutras are path. In following this road, we return to our hearts. So, this road to our heart is, I think, quite inspirational. And yesterday and the day before yesterday, when the KL International School team come to report to Master, Master say, actually, we are all united in our aspiration. It is not actually easy to unite so many people. Even 3 people have 3 different mindset, and uniting 3 people is already very difficult, let alone uniting so many people in Tzu Chi. So yeah, the sutra is actually means string. So it piece everything together and unite everything together. So this is a living sutra in Tzu Chi that we see today, and this is really very very special, I think, in our life to witness the whole living sutra being written in Tzu Chi in this world. And to sum up my presentation today, actually this is one of the summary master said in her teaching. So karmic conditions and virtuous friends help us take the Dharma to heart. We must not lose them right away. So we must string them together like a thread. Every day we must connect the Dharma we have learned. All right, so with this I end my presentation. Yeah, it's only 20 minutes. There are more time left. So I think, yeah, I will let Brother Joe or Sister Xiaoqing or anyone to feedback on my presentation. And also Sifu, yeah, 感恩.
Okay, hi, good morning, everyone. I'm De Huang. Today we have 9 people here in the board who listen to our brother Jing Kuan sharing just now. And just now he say he sharing with us about his encounter, what happened to her when dealing her task, and she transformed the negative to positive affinity. So I think it's the same thing. Like I think before we go to Tzu Chi activities, I think maybe we have our own habitual tendencies and so on. So, and now as we have a chance to join Tzu Chi and to walk in among people to do things, so I think this is just the beginning for us to engage our spiritual cultivation. 路人群才是真正的修行，这是like what Master say or the Buddha taught in the sutra, like what we should have a thank you and gratitude and respect others, and this is just a beginning for us to learn. It's the same thing happened to me actually, like how we like let feel free is from what you say is like feel free from how to say is like to eradicate our unhappy and when we're doing something that with others, and maybe sometimes we will think that, hey, why you are doing this way, and this is maybe my opinion is better than you. So maybe in this way, so what we should do is like master teachers is we have to sorry, I repeat again. Example, if we are in a group, there's a leader and there's a member, and master taught us that like if now in my task I'm a member, part of a member, and I have to listen to the leader, whether the suggestion that he give or she give. So although we have a doubt for the suggestion about a leader, but Master say as our responsibility is we have to follow because we want to work harmony in a group. So for us, if in this moment I'm a member of this group, and we should listen to the leader, and even though we have a doubt, but we try to believe and the suggestion that he gives. So, and when the activity has been passed and go through, and we can try to review is any mistake we have to do some amendment or some changing, or if the suggestion still can go smooth, then we should go on and follow. So if in the other way, if I'm a leader and we try to how to like together all the people's strength together to make things go smooth, this is the way for us to like to train ourselves how to distribute the task equally to everyone so that everyone have a chance to do. So please allow me to use a Chinese to explain what I want to say. 就前几天我有看上人有说，其实我们的角色就是在一个团体要和睦，就是如果我的角色我是组员我们要配合组长，那我们就是组长的意见等等，我们组员我们就是听从组长的配合分配，这就是我们的角色。那如果今天我是组长有一群组员，那当然组长就要学习，就是要如何把工作分配均匀，让大家人人有事情做，然后就是你的角色是要听从配合的我们就是尽量不要先个人自己的意见，就是觉得组长这样讲我不认同，然后我就觉得他这样不好，然后我们就自己做一个小组说我们这个组长他的方式不好，我觉得我们应该这样，那变成这个团体就是一直在传是非大概意思是这样。不好意思，那个 this is I want try to say just now. Okay, so is it someone want to give some feedback for our brother Yuki?
Okay, hello everyone. Yoping here. Thank you again for Brother Jing sharing. I benefited a lot from it. Two things that I gathered. It was there was this slide that was talking about this true heart and false heart that I really like a lot, because this phrase I usually understand it as like 佛心看人，人人是佛，鬼心看人，人人是鬼。That if you see everyone as with a Buddha heart, then everyone is basically if you see everyone with a good heart, then everyone is good. If you see everyone with a bad heart, then everyone is bad. Simply put, is that. But today I had another level of understanding, because it uses the word true heart, true mind, and false mind, meaning that it's not just good and bad. Good and bad seems like it's two equal things, good and bad. But seeing that it actually is the true mind and the false mind, meaning that those bad thoughts, those habitual tendencies, those emotions, all those things are in fact false, or in fact they are not true, they are not real, they are not me, they are not really me. It's all the cause and conditions accumulated from the past that have made me this way, or made the condition this way, made all of us the collective karma this way. It's not true, it's not real. What should be true is that true mind, that Buddha nature, that inner nature that actually everyone has, that the whole nature has. And so that gave me a stronger faith. That it's not really a choice of whether I should be good or bad. It's more like what is true, that the true thing that's in me, that faith that we all have that true mind in us, and that is already there. It's not just a choice of being good or bad. It's already there. It's true, and those false minds are in fact not me. And so you can just need to eliminate all these false minds, all these habitual tendencies, and then we will be back to that true mind that we all already have. And thinking deeper also, so what is true mind actually? I was just contemplating it a little just now, and I came to maybe two conclusions. One would definitely be wisdom. The wisdom that actually connects also to the later pages on this part that good and evil depend on conditions. That in fact that it's just cause and condition. Everything is cause and conditions. It's not that I'm intrinsically bad at things. And so this where all the self-doubt comes from, that this is not for me, I'm not suitable for this department, I would never be able to do this thing good, or this is not my thing. All these things actually comes from that thinking that that I'm intrinsically bad at this thing, or that I'm fixed to be good in this and bad in this. But actually, the fact it should be that everything depends on condition. Everything depends on condition, and it's all just this things just happens just nicely, that these cause and conditions come together, and now there's this result. And this result, be it good or bad, is just this condition, and we just need to face it. 欢喜受，甘愿做欢喜受。We just have to face every single conditions as it is, with that true mind. And so I think with this, that's the wisdom part that I felt is beneficial, because in that way, even adversities can help us to succeed, which means that every kind of conditions are beneficial to us, are benevolent friends to us, that everyone are in fact mirrors to us, that help us to grow. And so in that way, using this kind of wisdom, we will be able to see everything with our true mind, that everything is in fact Buddhas, that are in fact beneficial to us. And that's the wisdom part. And then I think the other part will be the other side of the balance, that is the compassion. Compassion is also the other because compassion is all-encompassing. That this love towards every single thing, it should be infinite, and that's why it's called the four infinite minds. It's all-encompassing, whether it's our sort of enemy or friends, or the good friends, bad friends, or there should be no more such differences. That this love goes out to everyone. There should be no boundaries, no races, no religions, no differences. This love is all-encompassing, and when this love is all-encompassing, then again there will be no differences between friends or foes, or such differences. Everyone are just who we love and who we have not yet cultivate good affinities with. And these are people we already have good affinities with. It's just these differences, and then maybe we just need to work a bit harder to cultivate better affinities with every people. And so I think compassion and wisdom help us to go back to that true mind that we all already have. And so that is why it's the 2 feet of the Buddha. This help us to walk forward. So that was the benefits that I've got, which actually helped me to connect all these ideas into this into an integral whole. So really thank Kuan for the sharing today. Thank you. All right, 7:30. Do we have sharing from each chapter?
Good morning, brothers and sisters. Very kind for all the great teachers' insights. Okay, today we have Sister Peng with us. She'll be sharing her personal journey. Sister Peng, please.
Thank you. Good morning, Sifu. Good morning, brothers and sisters. I have done lots of sharing since I joined Tzu Chi, but it's about education, it's about Tzu Chi to the corporates, and it's never about myself. So this is actually the first time I'm sharing about myself when Sister Tzu Chi asked me to do that. I come from a middle-class family. I have a very trusting father whom actually taught me the importance of trust. And it's also pretty unique that I have 3 mothers who adored me and loved me because I'm their first child. After me, my mom gave birth to another 4 siblings of mine. Growing up, I remember very distinctly a health scare when I was at 6 years old that almost took my life, but I survived. And everything else was pretty smooth going in my education and in my career path. And a bit of background in terms of my career, and that actually determined my character in the early part of my life, that I was a stockbroking analyst, I was an investment banker, and people know that in those industries it's a pretty tough one. Not only that I'm a female, very rare amongst investment banking community those days, and it is also a dog-eat-dog business because, you know, constantly I'm chasing mandates and I cannot afford to lose a single mandate. Otherwise, my boss from Hong Kong and from the US will call me and ask me why. So as a result, I was very intense, extremely impatient, and I was focused in, you know, winning mandates one after another. So that is a little bit about me. And I have a very blessed family, a very supportive one, with a trusting husband and 3 very smart, independent, and compassionate daughters. Growing up, I think, you know, the only regret that I have right now, I hope that's the only one, is my dad passing on very early before he had the chance to actually witness how my career has taken off, and he didn't have a chance to really enjoy the grandchildren. Often people ask me, how did my affinity with Tzu Chi started? It started probably around the time of year 2000, when Sister Karen T and Sister Elsie, who used to work for me when I was with Citigroup, approached me to donate. And I would consider myself as, pretty generous in donating money. Anyone who come and ask me, I will, donate something. But I was extremely, extremely stingy with my time. I never bothered to participate in any of the activities or any of the invitation because obviously work took up a large part of my time, and then family and also hobbies. And this would include company outings where I don't think it was necessary for me to be there. And I will always, find reason not to attend. So I donate, not knowing actually, I was actually donating to Tzu Chi. And I believe Sister Elsie or Sister Karen have sent many, of the monthly journal publications and books to me. But my PA and my secretary was too afraid to put them on my table because it's not work related. And somehow, but in one occasion, a book slipped past her. And that is the book on Master. It's the Master of Love and Mercy. And I saw the book, the picture of Master, and I felt a sense of familiarity. And I was intrigued. So I called Elsie and wanted to know more about Master. And she asked me if I've been back to Taiwan, and the answer was no. Then very confidently she said, oh, you wouldn't have met Master because, she's never stepped foot out of Taiwan. So I took a day to read the book. And I was really impressed with Master's selflessness, her diligence, her perseverance. And there were three phases that, got me even more intrigued and more questions in my mind. Was there is no one that I don't love, there is no one that I don't trust, there's no one that I don't forgive. And around that time, I was going through a case where our partnership was actually defrauded by a borrower. And I was in court testifying against this defrauder. So in my mind, I was asking myself, can I look in the eye of this guy and say, I forgive you? It was tough. So I decided at that point that I want to go back to Taiwan to visit Master. That was around probably 2012. And the trip didn't realize until about 2014 when two friends in my neighborhood invited me to join them on the trip to Taiwan. And I said, I'll go with you as long as you agree to come to Hualien with me, because there is one thing that I want to do is to meet Master. And that was in June 2014. We went, but I didn't get a chance to see Master because she was on her road trip. But nonetheless, I was very lucky. I was taken a tour of the abbot and also the Hualien Jing Hall. Then when I came back, I had lots of questions, and Sister Elsie couldn't handle my questions. So she decided to push me over to Sister Mei Mei and Sister Sylvie. And since then, everything is history. I attended TNC Beijing, and I was commissioned in 2017. So I like to move on to what have I learned in the last few years as a Tzu Chi member, volunteer, and commissioner. First is never estimate or underestimate the power of one. And I remember this very vividly when I first joined the entrepreneur group back to Taiwan in 2015 March. The first thing that hit me that morning when I came down to queue up was this emotion that swelled in me, that I felt the strength of the people. Never before I felt that way. Because, as I said earlier, I was very, very stingy with my time. And I always said, whether I'm there or not, it's not going to make a difference. My presence or my absence is not going to make a difference. But having felt that kind of emotion, that morning when everyone was queuing up to go into the Daitang, I knew how wrong I was, and I promised myself that I will never say that again. 多我一个不多，少我一个不少. So that was the first lesson. Secondly, I always now look at things, the glass half full rather than half empty. And I truly appreciate every time when we have activities like right now doing mooncake, the Pusa who come, even though they say, you know, I can only be here for 1 hour or 2 hours, I feel very, very grateful for their time. Those days as an investment banker, I would say, you know, 1 or 2 hours is not enough and I need you for 8 hours. So, but I now look at things, you know, really appreciate the little things that people do, the little time, no matter how short a time that they contribute, I truly appreciate that. And thirdly, I've learned to reflect a lot about, you know, whether it's in activities or the time that I've done. One of the things that, you know, I really truly learn and appreciate the words is blessing and gratitude. And with that, I'd like to share with you my first experience encounter when I went to KKB, which is a institution for the special people. When I first arrived there, I was shocked at the condition, and the 3-4 hours that I spent there made me realize that how blessed I was. My job has been a very, very stressful one. I need to multitask. I'm often overbooked for meetings, and I need to travel a lot. So the kind of stress is tremendous, and sometimes, you know, unintentionally, you know, I would say things like, you know, why me and why so much work and, you know, why all this stress and what is this all for? But when I stared at those inmates, then I realized that those stress are actually blessing, because they would exchange places with me anytime. It will be a blessing for them to take on all the stresses that I complain about. And so that actually was a great mindset change. Following from that, I took everything and I view everything that come on me and, you know, when it is piled on my plate, I look at it as a blessing. And that actually changed my approach in handling. I mean, I always used to just take that on, but you know, in terms of how I handle it now with you know, a much more open heart, and because it is a blessing rather than a piece of work. So that is great. And the other thing is that understanding karma, cause and condition better now, I tend to now understand that nothing is coincidental. And one of those things that I would like to share with brothers and sisters as well, Sifu, is that my affinity with education. When I was an investment banker back in 2002, I had a very big wish that is to develop a education village in Malaysia, because then I saw the importance of education. But it was more from a commercial standpoint that I wanted to approach, and I was successful in approaching a big corporate property developer who bought into my idea of wanting to develop an education village. And he said, you know, money is there, but I need to go and convince the government. And it wasn't easy, because it means a merit-based society, at least for that village. So it didn't take off. And then in around 2000, I was approached by an ex-deputy governor of the central bank here to help her to set up the Asian Women Leadership University, which is a partnership with one of the Seven Sisters University in the US. We got to the point of receiving the some money, and but our application for the university license was not smooth sailing. And finally, the ministry gave us a college license and not a university license. So the US partner decided not to proceed. So that put an end to it. Then when I joined Tzu Chi, it was such at the time where, you know, Tzu Chi International School was being molded at that time. And somehow I just walked into it. And Sister Echo Tian Sijie and Sister Sylvie, you know, they say, oh, why don't you come and help us on the fundraising? And from one thing, it leads to another from fundraising. And I'm now also involved in the operation side, interviewing teachers, interviewing students, interviewing parents. So I then now realize that I have this, you know, close affinity with education. And so much so that in October last year, I was approached by our Ministry of Education here, the minister himself, to be part of this 13-member team to review our national education policy and to give new suggestions. I was surprised because I'm not an academic person. I'm not in the academician world. And out of the 13 members, I'm the only one who is not part of that. And they say, oh, we just wanted you to give an outside view. I thought very hard about that. I had, you know, sleepless nights for 2 nights, not knowing whether to take it on or not. For the first time, I really doubted my ability because I've never done that before and I didn't understand why. So I asked Tian Sijie, and she said, why not? You will get the support of all of us here, and then Qi Feng Sixiong as well. So I said, okay. And even when I say okay, I was still not fully convinced. But I had the opportunity around that time to visit Master. And she said, Bao Wu Yin Yuan. And she said, I blessed you. So I decided that, you know, there is really no reason why I should not take it on and I shouldn't doubt myself. There must be a reason why I'm being put in that position. So I took it on and very successfully, you know, completed the task as given the time at the end of April. And the feedback so far was that, you know, they like, you know, my recommendation. And not surprisingly, it is on character building. So hopefully, you know, some of those suggestions will be adopted and it will be beneficial for all the children in Malaysia. So those are some of the key lessons I have learned. And often people ask me why Tzu Chi, and you know, in fact, when I started, my family members all thought that, you know, it's a new hobby and how long I would last. Well, why Tzu Chi? I felt that it was just a very natural step in my path. And amongst all the flaws that I have, there is a little strength that I have, which is that I tend to take things as they come. And I often don't struggle with asking too many questions and seeking answers. So whenever changes come, I take them, whether it was in my education or in my career, and now, you know, on the Tzu Chi path. So I never question, but just walk forward, as Master said, if it is right, just do it, and have faith and perseverance. So what I feel is that Tzu Chi is a really huge learning institution. And it has got a platform that suits everyone and anyone, because you will find your life purpose here. And I suppose I have found mine, and I'm blessed with good health, some intelligence, I suppose, and some success in my career with experiences that I know I can now use in whatever that I'm doing here in Tzu Chi. and I see everything in the past, whether it was in my studies or in my career, as preparatory to benefit me in fulfilling my life purpose. So with that, I remain curious with what comes my way, and with Master blessing, I know I should never fear to take them on. So with that, that is my sharing. Thank you. And
Sister Cupping, wow. This is truly rare, as Brother Jing Kuan. Today, rare to hear Brother Jing Kuan sharing a full session. And Sister Cupping, this is also our first time. This is really high profile. I didn't even know what Sister Cupping, but I trust her because I always tell her story, but it's always about the school, but never about personal journey. So today, Cupping really okay. Over to Hualien, Kuan.
Okay. How should I start? Because suddenly used in English, I'm not too sure how to start. Okay, all the Suhu over here and all the brothers, sisters, and over in all over the world. Can I see the picture of all of yours over there? So at least I can know anyone is over there. Maybe you can show some of them.
Okay, everyone, please unmute the video.
Okay, Chara, sure. Okay. That's great. I saw you all before, right? So we meet again. Okay, in KL, Zoom? Is it? Okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. Okay, just now I came in a bit late, about 7:30. I mean, I listened to Zhong just now, so I missed some of the sharing as well. So, that's also USJ. Sorry, yeah. Okay. In fact, I know Jiaping since 2016, and just now when she's sharing on the affinity that she met. So in case from year 2000 until year 2012, but because of we have planted a very good seeds in her mind, that's why when first read in the books, the Master of Mercy and Love, she can already feel how compassion is our master. So that's why in year 2004, I believe, or 2014, when she was in the abroad, so she had managed to understand more about Tzu Chi. So how should I say? But I am very happy that to listen to the sharing of because basically I'm not too sure that today she is sharing as well. I believe it's the first time, but also a lot of people over here we can listen to it. Yeah, maybe I give some update of what have been done this whole week, because this whole week from 31st of July, when our education group is coming back to Hualien over here, then they have chance to voice up or sharing with our Suhu here, and also sharing with Master what we have done for the education, the Guoqi Xiexiao over there. So during all the admission, all these things, they have some what I say interview and all these things. And the important thing is yesterday also Master met them again, and sharing that Master always tell about the 粽子, you know, all you 粽子, the rice dumpling, the 藏花, the string. When you want to put all the things together, but I'm not very good in sharing in English over here. But in fact, Master always tell that we have to go back to the Fa Yuan. The important is the Fa Yuan. So everyone have to understand the spiritual behind that. So, and also another thing that Master always worry about is 大马莲心爱普满地. So no matter how many branches we have now, but we have to unite into one. So this master would like to share with all of us as well. So because of these few days I have chance together with them, that's why I got this information that I would like to tell all of you as well. But anyway, it's very, very happy to see all of you again. And in fact, if you have time, always welcome you back to our spiritual home. Okay, thank you. 他们的时间是发生在什么？他们要讲话。开头是。So anyone would like to give any feedback or? Yeah. 你讲话一下。就结束了。
Okay, if not, then I think today's time is about time. So shall we pass the mic back to Sister Tzu Chi? Thank you.
感恩, brothers and sisters, today indeed a very rare encounter to have Brother Jing Kuan, but we hope it's not going to be so rare. We hope Brother Jing Kuan can share more with us. Really benefited a lot from the wonderful sharing. 感恩师父, of course, Huang 师父 as usual, and Yuan师父 always give us very good insights. Brother Yo Peng, very 感恩, and Sister Peng, yeah, if like what we have said before, this is even for us is the first time hearing this very close and personal encounter journey. Very 感恩. We will share the recording later. Hopefully more will be benefited. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for your presence. Hope that each of us could sustain the Dharma joy and take in another piece of Hualien love to our life. Let us please make 3 bows to the Buddha and Dharma Master as we depart to apply these teachings in our daily life. Let us pay our respects to life, the teachers of life, universal truth. Bows together. First bow. Second bow. And third bow. And of course, a bow to our beloved Sifu who could join us today. 感恩 all 菩萨, 感恩师父, 感恩. Oh, sorry, earlier on we could not, because of the system set up is such a way that it muted all the audio appearances, that's why, and the video, that's why they could not really unmute. It's not that they don't want to appear. 师父 and sorry, yeah, that's why they couldn't appear. But very grateful to all brothers and sisters who are here today.
Okay, bye bye everyone. Bye bye.
这次他们那天他们有在。
Very good session, oh. Sister Stephanie.
Please feel free to express your thoughts.
Wow.